Are you tired of carrying the weight of everything? Your plans, your pain, your future, like the world depends on you? You pray, but still hold on tight. You say you trust God, but keep steering the wheel. Here's the truth. Real peace begins where your control ends. When you finally let go, that's when God steps in. In this video, we'll uncover the power of surrender, the freedom found in faith, and how to truly let God take over, not just in words, but in your life. We live in a world that teaches us to take control of our careers, our relationships, our outcomes. Plan it, fix it, force it. But what happens when everything still falls apart? What happens when your strength runs out and your plans don't work? That's where God meets us, not in our power, but in our surrender. Today, we're talking about one of the most powerful but hardest spiritual truths. Letting go and letting God, not as a cliche, not as a last resort, but as a daily act of faith, the kind that brings peace, freedom, and healing. Because the moment you stop gripping everything so tightly is the moment you start living in His perfect peace. There's a moment in every believer's life when you come face to face with the truth. You are not in control. You can plan everything down to the second. You can pray, push, and strive with all your strength. But then life throws something at you that you can't fix. A diagnosis, a breakup, a failure, a loss, and suddenly your hands are gripping so tightly to what was that you can't receive what could be. I once heard the story of a woman named Rachel. She was a planner, an achiever. Everything in her life was scheduled, organized, and controlled. Her job, her relationships, her future, it was all mapped out. Until one day it wasn't. Her dream job was taken from her. Without warning, the relationship she believed would lead to marriage suddenly ended. She stood in the wreckage of her plans, confused and angry. She prayed, but nothing changed. She kept trying to fix everything. But the more she held on, the more broken it all became. One night, Rachel fell to her knees and whispered the words that would change her life. God, I don't know what you're doing, but I give it to you. All of it. I surrender. And in that moment, nothing around her changed, but something inside her did. The illusion of control. The truth is, we never really had control to begin with. What we have is the illusion of control, a fragile belief that if we do everything right, we can guarantee the outcome. But the Bible tells a different story. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. You see, peace doesn't come from having all the answers. Peace comes from knowing the one who does. Jesus in the garden, a model of surrender. Even Jesus faced a tension between fear and faith. In the Garden of Gethsemane, the night before His crucifixion, He cried out in anguish, Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Luke 22 verse 42. Even the Son of God asked for another way, but He didn't stop there. He finished the prayer with the most powerful words in history. Yet, not my will, but yours be done. That is surrender, not the absence of fear, but the choice to trust in spite of fear, not giving up, but giving over your will for God's will. Because God's will may not always be easy, but it is always perfect. The gift in letting go. Letting go isn't a loss. It's an exchange. You lay down your fear and receive His peace, your control and receive His covering, your anxiety and receive His assurance, your weakness and receive His strength. Think of Peter stepping out of the boat. As long as his eyes were on Jesus, he walked on water. The moment he looked at the storm, he began to sink. Why? Because control shifted back to fear. But Jesus reached out and pulled him up, not because Peter was strong, but because Jesus was faithful. That's the God you're surrendering to, a God who doesn't let go when you do. What letting go looks like today. Surrender isn't just for the big, dramatic moments. It's daily. It's ordinary. It's practical. Letting go might look like choosing peace over overthinking when plans don't go your way. Trusting God with your children instead of trying to fix everything for them. Releasing bitterness over someone who hurt you. And letting God be your justice. Turning off the noise and resting. Even when your to-do list is full, it's not weakness, it's worship. Surrender says, God, I don't have to know how. I just have to know you, the promise on the other side. What happens when you surrender? Rachel, the woman from earlier, didn't get her old job back, but she found a new purpose that was far greater. She didn't go back to the relationship she lost, but she discovered a deeper love in Christ and eventually married someone who shared her calling and values. But more than what she gained, it's what she let go of that freed her. The pressure to perform, the fear of the unknown, the guilt of not being enough, the need to be in control. She was no longer building her life with closed fists, but with open hands. And that's where God works best. Final truth. Let go not because you're losing, but because you're loved. Letting go is not defeat. It's not giving up. It's giving over to the one who knows the end from the beginning. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11, verse 28. If you've been carrying what you were never meant to carry, if your mind is loud and your heart is heavy, it's time. Let go, let God, and let peace flood in. Urgent warning. The danger of holding on too tight. If you keep trying to control everything, your future, your relationships, your reputation, you're setting yourself up for exhaustion, not peace. And here's the danger. The longer you grip what God is asking you to release, the more you delay the blessing He's trying to give. You weren't created to carry the weight of the world. That burden is crushing souls silently. Stress turns into anxiety. Fear turns into spiritual paralysis. You pray but don't trust. You speak faith but live in fear. And deep down, you're drowning in control disguised as strength. Let me be clear. What you refuse to surrender may end up controlling you. This isn't just about comfort. It's about survival. The enemy thrives where control replaces trust. And if you don't let go soon, you might miss the miracle waiting on the other side of surrender. Don't wait for life to break you down. Bow down now. If this message hit your spirit, like this video to say, I choose surrender over control. Share it with someone fighting silent battles. They need this. Subscribe for more content that feeds your faith, not your fear. Drop a comment. I'm letting go and letting God. Let's flood this feed with faith.